Coming up, a new addition was added to the Pentacrest this weekend in honor of Anne Frank. And later, a new COVID-19 variant causes cases to rise in Iowa City.
Hawkeyes continue winning ways in Lincoln. I'll tell you more in sports.
The clouds are still in the sky and the temperatures are rising. I'll tell you more in weather.
All that and more coming up on this Monday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to DITV. I'm Justina Borgman. A piece of history was planted on the University of Iowa grounds. A tree sapling that came from the chestnut tree Anne Frank saw out her window while hiding from the Nazis is now on campus. Professor Kristen Kampfbela started the project to bring the sapling here. 12 other cities received portions of the original tree to be replanted. Kampfbela was inspired by Anne's strength since her undergrad and felt that Iowa City deserved to share in her rich history.
I'm convinced that this community is a perfect home for such a tree. So I went for it, and here we are.
The event featured a speech from President Barbara Wilson, a spoken word performance from a local artist, a blessing from a rabbi, and songs sung by the Oakdale Choir. There will be a year's worth of events to commemorate the tree that are yet to be announced. COVID-19 cases in Johnson County are on the rise again. Johnson County has been recategorized from a low to a medium community spread level due to variants of the virus causing case numbers to rise. B2 and B2.12.1 are both subvariants of the variant Omicron and currently make up over 95% of the COVID-19 infections in the U.S. These new variants are highly transmittable and are more likely to not be stopped by antibodies or vaccinations. Right now, there are 305 COVID cases for every 1,000 Johnson County resident, but even though the case numbers are rising, hospitalization and deaths still remain stable. Both variants are not causing as severe of reactions. Wednesday nights in Iowa City are getting a little bit quieter. Due to the lack of vendor participation, the Iowa City Farmers Market will no longer hold Wednesday night markets. Over the past 5 years, there have been fewer shoppers and fewer vendors, especially on Wednesdays. And the Parks and Recreation Department just simply cannot justify the cost of the event. A few years ago, the Wednesday Farmers Market would fill the Swan parking ramp, but now only sees about a dozen vendors, only 1 or 2 which are food. This decline is in part due to big vendors leaving to sell their product online, people being wary of social interaction due to the pandemic, and changing the availability of fresh goods. The city has tried to offer incentives like lower prices or buy one get one deals, but this just has not been enough. The farmers market is opening to bring back Wednesday night sales if vendors decide to come back as well. And the Pride House held its end of the semester barbecue for the first time in 2 years. DITV reporter Angelica Toro attended the event to find out more.
On this day, April 29, 2022, Pride House is hosting the first barbecue event since the start of the pandemic. This event provided a safe space for people of all identities to celebrate the year they had.
It's really nice. Everybody's having fun and everybody seems happy.
People could play games and enjoy some food. Some of these included vegan options.
I'm vegan and gluten-free, so sometimes it's kind of hard to find options, and there were options for me right away when I walked in. It's really yummy veggie burgers and stuff.
Yeah, even just being vegan, usually you go to an event and you expect to have to eat beforehand.
Throughout the whole school year, the Pride House has also held events such as the Pride Week that celebrated LGBTQ history, culture, and fashion.
I think it's just a way to celebrate the end of the semester. It could be a stressful time for students, and it's another safe, queer space for students to go to.
Even though the barbecue had to be moved inside due to the bad weather, attendees enjoyed the last event the Pride House hosted for them this year.
Hey y'all. Hi. I think we just expect ambiance to be, it's just a very, I feel backyard barbecue is a very classic Midwest summer activity.
From the Pride House, this is Angelica Toro, DITV News.
After a hiatus due to the pandemic, the Black Student Union returns to campus with big plans for what comes next. After no in-person meetings all of last year, BSU recently held a fundraising event in partnership with Mama's Chicken and Fish. This was a way to fund their event for the semester cookout. While they weren't able to hold many events this semester, the organization eagerly looks to the future. They plan to reintroduce their annual Black Tie Gala in the upcoming fall semester. Along with that, their goals include a partnership with the Afro House and creating podcasts. Ultimately, their goal is to make sure that the community is helping local Black organizations and Black-owned businesses. Iowa farms are under their disposal for 5.3 million chickens and their disposal. In March, a chicken on the Rembrandt farms tested positive for an avian influenza. The farm was worried of the illness spreading, so they killed other chickens that were exposed as well. To kill the chickens, the workers were told to shut down the ventilation system of the barn, which caused temperatures inside to heat up over 104 degrees. This is known as one of the cheapest methods of animal slaughter. The 200 workers who shut down the ventilation and disposed of the chickens were fired immediately after the incident. The firing of the employees was the final event of a series reported of poor treatment. There have been protests of Rembrandt Farms following the disposal of the chickens and many complaints aimed at Glenn Taylor, the owner of the farm. Protesters stormed the court with shirts that read, "Glenn Taylor roasts animals alive." These extreme methods have not stopped the spread of avian flu, however. This weekend, we also saw a first report of a person contracting the avian flu in the U.S. And longtime Coralville City Councilor Jill Dodds has resigned following the arrest of her husband. The arrest was for second-degree sexual abuse against a preschooler. The arrest came after multiple sexual assault allegations between June and November of last year. Jeffrey Dodds has since been released on a $40,000 bond. Jill Dodds is standing by her husband, stating, quote, "My husband had false allegations made against him, for a horrific crime he did not commit," end quote. Jill Dodds' resignation comes after several city council members and Coralville Mayor Megan Foster recommend she do so. And the University of Iowa promotes recycling and sustainability efforts on campus, but there is one building that struggles properly labeling its waste bins. DITV Assistant News Director Julia Richards has more on these hidden trash cans.
Paper, plastics, food, oh my! Disposing of waste properly on the University of Iowa campus is important to many students. But just how well does the university make trash cans and recycling bins accessible?
I feel like they could use a little bit more, like towards the entrances of the buildings. I feel like I don't really notice them there.
The UI offers trash cans and recycling bins all over campus, but the Adler Journalism Building's trash cans are unique. Tucked into the walls on the first and second floor, these trash cans are incredibly easy to miss. With no label or sign marking them as trash cans, how many students actually know they exist?
Yeah, right there, right?
Actually, they're right behind you.
Are they really?
Yeah. It's about like 20 feet away, so.
Actually, right behind you.
Oh, okay.
Did you?
We're actually right there.
They're actually right behind you.
Oh, okay, yeah, right here.
Not all waste bins are easily accessible for students, especially in the Adler Journalism Building. However, the UI Sustainability website offers information for where and how to dispose and recycle waste items properly. The UI also posts signs encouraging responsible recycling near recycling bins. The signs advise against disposing of food waste, plastic bags, styrofoam, and glass.
I mean, we put our stuff in the recycling bin every week, just what can go in there.
And for whatever else can't go in recycling bins, just hope you can locate the nearest trash can. Reporting from the University of Iowa, Julia Richards, DITV News.
And we are rapidly approaching finals week and summer, and yet the weather is still not looking very warm and sunny outside. Ashley, can you fill us in on the forecast?
Yeah, thanks, Justina. Unfortunately, today is still rainy and cloudy, and the weather seems to be sticking around all week for another week at least. Today, there is a slight chance of rain during the day until some likely showers later tonight. The high will be 59 degrees, and we can expect the showers to drop the low down to 46 degrees tonight. Tomorrow looks to bring more showers in the morning, but just some cloudy skies in the afternoon. There'll be a high of 56 and a low of 40 degrees. Looking forward to the rest of the the week, we can see more cloudy skies, chances of rainfall, and temperatures sticking around the 60 degrees. And so it seems like today and this week will not be perfect weather to be studying outside, although I do have some good news now, Sam. I heard the Hawkeyes were selected for the NFL draft this weekend. Can you tell us some more?
Well, Ashley, Iowa was represented well this year at the NFL draft. Iowa continued their streak of having at least one player drafted to 44 years. All-American center and Remington Trophy winner Tyler Linderbaum was the first Hawkeye off the board, going 25th overall to the Baltimore Ravens. The only other Hawkeye to be selected was defensive back Dane Belton. Belton went in the 4th round to the New York Giants. Despite only having 2 players selected in the draft, the Hawks continue to have success with their undrafted players. Iowa had 5 more players gain NFL contracts, with Tyler Goodson, Matt Hankins, Jack Kerner, Caleb Shudak, and Zach Van Valkenburg all receiving contracts. Getting 7 players to the NFL in the same offseason is an impressive feat no matter how they got there. Hopefully these Hawkeyes can continue to shine in the NFL. And the Iowa track and field team continues to have success. The Hawkeyes grabbed 2 relay titles en route to the men, capturing their first Drake Relays Cup since 2018. Junior Alex Still said, quote, "Growing up, this is the meet you dream of running at, especially for the Hawkeyes. I've been dreaming of running for the Hawks since I was in 5th grade. To cross the finish line in my last race ever at Drake is a great feeling." Junior jumper James Carter Jr. also put on a show at Drake, completing a sweep of the horizontal jumps by winning the triple jump title alongside taking the long jump crown. Carter becomes the first Hawkeye to win both events at the Drake Relay since 2006. The Hawkeyes baseball team took on rival and the defending Big Ten champion Nebraska Cornhuskers this weekend. Iowa started the series off right, stealing Game 1, 1-0. Redshirt sophomore Adam MUZAR won the incredible pitcher's duel, only allowing 2 hits the entire game. Coach HELLAR praised MUZAR's pitching, saying, quote, "Adam was the story. He was lights out, in total command. You don't see many 1-0 complete games, 2-hit shutouts in college baseball anymore. It was a special performance by Adam," end quote. MUZAR has been dominant lately. Over his last 3 starts, the sophomore is 3-0 with a .72 ERA, and he has only allowed 2 earned runs while racking in 28 strikeouts. The Hawkeyes would lose Game 2 in a blowout loss 12-1, but would bounce back to take the series, winning a close one 5-3 in the doubleheader on Sunday. Iowa looks to add to their impressive win total tomorrow when they take on the Illinois State Redbirds tomorrow at 6 p.m. The Iowa softball team had a tall task in front of them this weekend. The Hawkeyes took on the number 8 ranked Northwestern Wildcats. And despite the Hawkeyes hitting well in the series opener, they could not secure a win in Evanston. Iowa would lose Game 1 5-9 and would fail to get back into the scoring column for the rest of the weekend, losing 4-0 and 9-0 to close out the final 2 games of the series. This is the Hawks' 5th straight loss and their 12th loss in just 13 games. Iowa is going to need to get their bats rolling if they want to get out of this losing slump. They will have a chance to gain some confidence heading into their weekend series against Purdue with a midweek treat to Cedar Falls to take on the Northern Iowa Panthers. The University of Iowa men's golf team competed in the Big Ten championships this past weekend. The Hawkeyes closed out the Big Ten championships in 7th place. The Hawkeyes move up 2 spots on the final day, but it was not enough to overtake the eventual champions, the number 19 ranked Illinois Fighting Illini. Illinois took home the title for the 2nd consecutive year and have won 12 out of the 13 Big Ten titles. Junior Ronan Klugh finished strong in the last 2 rounds. He matched the 2nd lowest score of the second round, finishing 3 under par. The Hawkeyes finished with a team score of 31 over par, which was just 1 stroke behind number 25 ranked Purdue. And the Iowa basketball team got a new commit over the weekend. Hawkeyes land 6'3" guard Amarion Nimmers. Nimmers will be a preferred walk-on for the Hawkeyes. The guard out of Rock Island, Illinois, finished his high school career as the 2nd all-time leading scorer with over 1,300 points. He also broke the school's single-game record for most points, scoring 45 points against Dubuque Hempstead earlier in the year. Coach McCaffrey was in attendance for Nimmers' 45-point game, and it is clear that left an impact on him. With Nimmers averaging nearly 24 points per game, the Hawkeyes may have gotten a steal with this player. Nimmers will join 2 other freshman guards this upcoming year, with Desante Brown and Josh Dix enrolling next fall as well. Come back on Wednesday for an update on Hawkeye baseball and softball. Back to you, Justina.
Thanks, Sam. And for DITV's Music Monday, Chicago-based music artist Sleeping at Last released a new song titled Asleep. Asleep is the 2nd song to be released for the project Atlas 3, the 3rd album in the Atlas series. The first 2 albums explored themes of the origins of the universe and involuntary human development. They featured songs based around our senses and emotions. Atlas 3 will be based on voluntary human development, focusing on what we do with everything we've been given. Asleep is the sister song to Awake, and the first song will be released for this album. Thank you for tuning in to DITV News. Have a fabulous day.